My name's Ronald Heigl. I grew up in Venice. My family is a longtime pioneer family from this area. This was the first court that was commissioned by the Venice Historical Commission, and after we decided to do these various courts. And this was the Pioneer Court, which was to commemorate the first families that moved to this area as a permanent basis to form the nucleus of our first resident population. There were three families that were involved in those first days. There were the Knights and Currys, and eventually involving some of the Blackburns, represented by the cattlemen. The fisherman represents the Blackburn family who settled in the Blackburn Bay area, today's Nokomis, Laurel, and Osprey. And the Heigl family, who was my great-grandfather, who came here in 1881. I think the Knights came here in about 1868, 1869, Heigls in 1881, the Blackburns in 1884, and they brought other members of their family with them and proliferated in different ways. Not so hard for Mr. Knight, Jesse Knight. He had 12 children, and you start marrying them off, pretty soon you get a good population. Anyway, by 1888, this area had enough population to qualify for its own post office. Prior to that point, they had to go either to Osprey or Sarasota. My great-grandfather is of this group of families were the only ones who lived in what is today's Venice. The Knight family and the Currys all lived out east of what we would know as Nokomis today, and the Blackburn family lived up along the bay for the most part at the beginning. In 1888, as I said, we had enough enough people, numbers of people, to warrant our own post office, and it was established on July the 4th, 1888, and therefore we became our own town. Venice at that time comprised what is today's Venice, Nokomis, and Laurel. It was only after, off on a tangent again, as I can only do, that Bertha Palmer came to the Sarasota area, saw what she liked, and remember this is 1812, 13, something like that, and decided she was going to invest in Florida real estate after seeing what it could do. But she had used her influence to bring the railroad from Sarasota to Venice. She extended the line not into what is today's Nokomis, where the post office was, but on down to where her property that she was going to develop, called the Sarasota Venice Land Company, into a new town similar to what Flagler was doing on the East Coast. And by having the railroad in what is today about where today's Luna Restaurant is, on Tampa Street, close to her grove, where she could ship her produce to the north. So Venice then in 1916 was split into Venice and Nokomis after somebody in the depth of night went over to Nokomis, ransacked and removed all the contents from the post office and moved it to where Mrs. Palmer had decided her post office was going to be. Again, it caused a big rift in the community, but that is another story.